Hello everyone, in today's session we are going to discuss spotting errors theory part 12. Let's begin. First of all, the index. Introduction of subject-verb agreement. Important rules of subject-verb agreement. Read the disclaimer. The images used in our slide deck are for educational purposes only. We respect the intellectual property rights of the original creators and owners of these images. If you are the owner of any of the images used in this deck and have any concerns or issues, please contact us at sathee@iitk.ac.in and we shall remove the images. Subject-verb agreement. First of all, read the definition, what the subject-verb agreement is. A verb must agree with its subject in number and person. So, what we have understood by reading the part of the definition that you have to use the verb according to the number of the subject. If the subject is singular, verb will be singular. If the subject is plural, verb will be plural. I hope you've understood. Important rules. If the two subjects are joined by and, the verb will be plural. So if you find two subjects connected by and or joined by and, you have to use a plural verb. Example, he and she were present in the function. So as you can see that there are two subjects, he and she. Therefore, we have used were here, the plural form of was in past. Ram and Rahim are friends. So again, Ram is a subject, Rahim is also a subject, joined by and. That's why we have used plural verb here. When two nouns refer to the same person or thing, use singular verb. Example, the poet and painter has died. So here, poet and painter is the same person. That's why we have used a singular verb here, has. So there is a not. In such case, article is used with the first noun only. So to express such a structure, you have to use an article before the first noun only. When two nouns almost identical in meaning are used in a sentence just for the sake of emphasis, we use singular verb. Example, the scheme and plan of my life differs from that of yours. So here, scheme and plan, two nouns are here, and these are identical in meaning. That's why we have used singular verb here, differs. Now the plural one, differ. I hope you have understood. When two nouns are not identical in meaning but part of the same idea and are used as a phrase, the verb used is singular. So what we have understood by reading this, that if you find two nouns and they express the same idea, you have to use singular verb. Example, bread and butter is a good breakfast. So here, as you can see, bread and butter is not two different things, but the one. It becomes a unit. It becomes a good breakfast. So that's why we have used is here. So when two nouns join by and becomes a unit, we have to use singular verb. Slow and steady wins the race. So slow is a noun, steady is also a noun. It also becomes a unit, a quality. Slow and steady wins the race. That's why we have used singular verb. verb that ends s. I hope you've understood. Important rules. When two subjects are connected by or, either or, neither nor, and not only but also, the subject which is closest to the verb determines whether the verb will be singular or plural. Usually the plural subject is placed near the verb. It means if one subject is singular and the other is plural, the plural subject will be placed near the verb and the verb will be plural. So what we have understood by reading this, that if you find a subject connected by either or, neither nor, not only but also, and or, you have to use verb according to the nearest subject. If the nearest subject is singular, you have to use a singular verb. If the nearest subject is plural, you have to use plural verb. I hope you have understood. Let's look at the examples. Example, neither the principal nor the teachers were present in the function. So here we can see the verb here were, and the noun preceding were is teachers, and teacher is a plural noun. Before teachers, we can see that another noun is there, principal. So these two nouns are connected with the help of neither nor. But the nearest subject to the verb is teachers. So according to teachers, as teachers is a plural noun, we will use a plural verb, were. So what is the plural form of was in past? Either Ramesh or his friends have stolen the watch. So either Ramesh or his friends. Again, the nearest subject is his friends. His friends is a plural subject. That's why we have used plural verb here. Have. With collective nouns like team, family, jury, crowd, class, committee, army, assembly, fleet, majority, mob, government, parliament, council, staff, etc. The verb used can be singular or plural. If the collective noun functions as a unit, the verb will be singular. If the collective noun functions dividedly or not in unison, the verb used will be plural. I hope you have understood. Example, the jury has given its verdict. So here jury is acting collectively and acting as a unit. Army was deployed at the border. Here army is acting as a unit. Important rules. Some nouns which end in s look like plurals but are actually singular in meaning and take singular verbs. The nouns are physics, mathematics, economics, news, gallows, billiards, innings, wages, arms, politics, measles, mumps, etc. No news is good news. So here you can see that news looks plural but actually is singular. That's why we have used a singular verb here. Is. Physics, economics, maths is a good subject. So here again we have used physics, economics, maths. So they look plural but actually they are singular. A plural noun denoting quantity or measurements of time, money, distance, weight as a unit takes singular verb. So if a plural noun denoting quantity or measurements of time, money, distance, weight, it takes singular verb if it acts as a unit. 5 kilograms is not a heavy weight. So here 5 kilograms is a subject of this sentence, but it is acting as a unit as whole sum. as an amount because we are referring 5 kilograms heavy weight. Some nouns which appear singular but are plural meaning take plural verbs. Such commonly used nouns are dozen, hundred, million, cattle, people, score, thousand, gentry, police, peasantry, company, alphabet, progeny, offspring, clergy, infantry, etc. So they look singular actually, but they are plural. You have to use plural verb with them. The cattle are grazing in the field. A score was saved by him. Important rules. Sometimes a word that is actually an adjective is used as a noun. It is preceded by the. It means people in general. So as you can see, the expressions the poor, people who are poor, it means people who are poor. Poor in general. Class, it is referring to a class of poor. The old, people who are old. The young, people who are young. In such cases, use plural verb. I hope you have understood. Example, the poor are trustworthy. The rich are generally unkind to the poor. Each and every take singular noun and singular verb. So when you use and when you find each and every, it takes singular verb. Each boy and girl has to attend the function. Whether each is used as a pronoun or as an adjective or a determiner, you have to use singular verb with it. The same applies with every. Every is an adjective. When you find every, it takes a singular verb and a singular noun as well. Each boy and each girl has to attend the function. Every man, woman, and child was happy to meet the president. So here again, we have used singular verb. Important rules. Usually singular verb is used in sentences showing arithmetical calculation. Also note the following views of normal Lewis. 4 and 4 is 8. 4 and 4 are 8. 5 and 5 is 10, right? But don't jump to the conclusion that 5 and 5 are 10. Is wrong. Both verbs are equally acceptable. Normal Lewis. 3 plus 3 equals 6. 3 plus 3 equals 6. I hope you have understood. Let's move to another. If you find one of, either of, neither of, none of, always take plural noun and singular verb. Note the construction one of, none of, either of, neither of, none of, plus plural noun plus singular verb. So you have to remember the structure and the construction. You can say. Example, one of my friends needs some help. So here, actual subject is one, not friends, because my friends is an object of the preposition of. The real subject is one. According to one, we have used singular verb with s. None of those reasons is valid again. None is a subject. So that's why we have used singular verb. Important rules. Some nouns are uncountable in nature, like furniture, luggage, information, advice, work, knowledge, equipment, behavior, scenery, traffic, fruit, electricity, music, progress, weather, nonsense, sense, etc. Can't be pluralized by adding s. Uncountable nouns take singular verbs. So with uncountable nouns, you can't use s to make them plural, and you have to use singular verb with them. Example: work is worship. Knowledge is power. When two nouns are joined together by besides, as well as, and not, in addition to, like, with, together with, including, accompanied by, the verb is governed by the former noun. So when two nouns or when two subjects are joined by besides, as well, etc., you have to use the verb according to the former noun, not the later one. Example: Ram and not his friends was present there. So here you can see his friends and Ram, but you have to use verb according to Ram, not his friends, because we have used a phrase between Ram and his friends, which is and not. As per rule, we have to use the verb according to the former one, and the former one is Ram. The house with all its belongings was sold. Again, we have used a preposition here, and the word which, which comes after the preposition becomes an object. So all its belongings has become an object, and verb does not agree with objects. So the rest part is the house, and it is a subject of the verb was. Here is used in singular and usually takes singular verb, but if here is used as countable, use plural verb as following. His hair is black. 5 hairs of the horse are needed by him. So here hair is treated as plural, 5 hairs. It means 5 strands of hair. Important rules. If a countable noun follows all or some in a sentence, the noun as well as the verb used will be plural. But if the noun following is uncountable, the verb used will be singular. I hope you have understood. All the tigers are wild animals. So here we have used all with tigers, and tigers is a plural noun. That's why we have used plural verb here, which is are. Some milk is needed. So again, milk is an uncountable noun, and we have used a determiner, or you can say an adjective before it, which is some. That's why we have used a singular verb here. If the use of all denotes a unit, the verb used will be singular. He knows all that has happened here. So he knows what? All that has happened here. So here we will use singular verb here. I will tell you all that was discussed in the meeting. So here again we will use a singular verb here because that here is a relative pronoun, and it is relating all to the verb we have used here has. I hope you understood. When used in sentences, the titles of books, plays, poems, movies, and so on are singular, and so take singular verb. Salman's Rushdia's Midnight's Children is my favorite novel. So we have used a singular verb here. The verb used after there will be singular or plural, depends on the subject which follows it. If it is a singular, use singular verb. If plural, use plural verb. There is a girl in the room. So here, a girl which follows there is singular. That's why we have used singular. So we won't use verb according to there because there is not a subject. There is a dummy subject, you can say, or an introductory subject. It is used to just introduce the subject. The real subject follows it. There are 10 students in the class. According to 10 students, we will use verb, which is are. Some nouns which consist of two parts take plural verbs. Such commonly used nouns are scissors, pants, binoculars, tongs, spectacles, shorts, breeches, shoes, scales, glasses, goggles, etc. These nouns come in pair and we have to use plural verb with them. I hope you understood. My shoes are new. So here shoes. Just because of shoes, we have used verb are. The scissors are blunt. If a pair is used with such nouns, the verb used is singular because the real subject becomes pair. Only a pair of shoes is required. So here, pair is a real subject here. That's why we have used singular verb here. A pair of scissors was purchased by me. Again, some sentences have following construction: singular noun plus preposition plus singular noun. Take singular verb. Use singular verb in such constructions. Example, man after man was coming there. So here we have used a noun man and again a noun man joined by a preposition which is after. You have to use singular verb with it and with such a construction because it refers to series, man after man, village after village, door to door, hand to hand. You might have heard such expressions. 1 month after another has passed. Again, we have used singular verb here. Important rules. Some nouns have the same form in singular as well as in plural. The verb is used according to what we mean to refer. Such nouns are sheep, fish, deer, etc. Example, a sheep is a beautiful animal. Many sheep are grazing there. So as we can see, sheep here is used as singular and sheep here is used as plural. I hope you have understood. If in a sentence infinitive, gerund, phrase or a clause functions as a subject, use singular verb. Swimming is a good exercise. So here the subject of the verb is swimming. So it is a gerund. Swimming is a gerund and it has a singular number. Just because it is having singular number, we have used singular verb here. I hope you have understood. To swim is good for you. Here the verb is here is and the subject of is to swim, which is infinitive. Important rules. If a phrase like a number of, lots of, a lot of, plenty of, a quarter of, part of, percent of, proportion of, none of, remainder of, two-thirds of, most of, some of, majority of, much of, many of, a good deal of, a great deal of, heaps of, is followed by a countable noun, it will be plural. And the verb used will also be plural. If the noun followed is uncountable, the verb used will be singular. I hope you have understood. Let's look at the examples and try to understand. Most of the persons are dishonest. So here we have used most of, and the persons is followed by most of. The persons here is a plural noun. So most of will also be considered as plural. That's why we have used plural verb here, which is are. I hope you have understood. If if you find a noun followed by most of is an uncountable noun, then most of will become uncountable and will be treated as same. About half of the students were present here. Again, half of has become plural just because students here. Most of the milk was impure. Again, most of is followed by the milk. That's why we have used it has become an uncountable one. That's why we have used was here. Much of the sugar was wet. A number means many. It always takes plural verb. The number means a definite number. It acts as a collective noun and takes singular verb. So when you use a number of and the number of, you have to use accordingly. The number of candidates appeared in SSC this year was very large. So here we are talking about the number. We are emphasizing the number, not the candidates. So the total number is singular. That's why we have used singular verb. A number of English books are available in the library. Here, a number of is a determiner. So this real subject is English books. According to English books, we have used are. So with a number of, you have to use plural verb, but with the number of, you have to use singular verb. Important rules. None usually takes singular verb, but some renowned grammarians also use plural verb with none. It is a mistake to support that the pronoun noun is singular only and must at all costs be followed by a singular verb. None was originally used as singular, but it has also acquired a plural meaning. None is an abbreviated form of not one or no one and would therefore seem to be singular, but in its context, it usually has a plural sense. As such, none can be used in singular as well as in plural. The phrase nothing but is treated as singular, so it takes singular verb irrespective of the noun following it. Nothing but hill is seen. Nothing but birds is seen. I hope you've understood. Important rules. If no precedes each of the two singular nouns in a sentence, singular verb is used. No boy and no girl was present in the party. Here, boy and girl is a singular noun and preceding no. That's why we have used singular verbs. No man and woman was swimming at that time. Following indefinite words require singular verbs like anybody, anyone, each, every, everyone, everybody, much, no one, other, someone, something, somebody. Example, has anybody seen my purse? Anyone is welcome. Each child gets a prize. Every dog has its day. Everyone is coming. Everybody loves her. Much has been made of his new book. No one was willing to try. So what we have seen that with everyone, no one, someone, we have to use singular verb. Again, important rules. Some indefinite verbs can have singular or plural verb. If the subject is singular, verb will also be singular. If the subject is plural, verb will be plural. Such commonly used words are all, any, enough, most, some. All she wants is to be happy. All her dreams have come true. Enough has been said about that already. Enough people have been hurt, invited. So what we have understood here that such commonly words are all, any, enough, most, some. If you find these words used with singular, use singular verb. And if you find these words with plural, use plural verb. When the subject and verb are separated, find the subject and verb and make sure they agree. Ignore the words in between because they do not affect agreement. The quality of these goods is well known. Financial help from all the countries were received. Important rules. In some sentences, words or phrases in a position are placed between subject and predicate. The verb will be governed the subject's number and person. You, my friend, are not guilty of misconduct. I, manager of this company, am responsible for the loss. So again, the relative pronoun who, whom, which, and that are either singular or plural, depending on the words they refer to. If the word referred is singular, verb will also be singular, otherwise plural. So here we have used a relative pronoun who, and who is referring to I. I is the antecedent of the word who. So the verb will be used according to I, not according to who. Again, who is referring to he. So verb will be used according to he, not according to relative pronoun who. That's why we have used is here. And with I, we have used am. The woman who is in black sari is my wife. Again, who is referring to woman. That's why we have used is here. The women who are standing there are my guests. So again, who is referring to women more than one or more than two. That's why we have used are here. Because women is plural. In above sentences, the verb is governed by the antecedent that comes before the relative pronoun. I hope you understood. Important rules. If a sentence compounds a positive and negative subject and one is plural, the other singular, the verb should also be with the positive subject. The staff members, but not the vice principal, have decided not to teach on Independence Day. So here we have used have, which is a plural verb. It is not the teachers but the principal who decides this issue. Again, mania is distributive in nature and effect, so requires a singular verb. So with mania, you have to use singular verb. Many a man has failed due to his duty. So again, with mania, you have to use singular verb, and the verb will also be singular. Many a girl has come to temple today. Some verbs are followed by as. These are regard, describe, represent, portray, depict, mention, define, treat. You ought to have regarded him as your brother. He was described by his wife as the most harmless man. I hope you understood. Important rules. Verbs such as name, call, term, think, consider, nominate, appoint are not followed by as. The chairman nominated Hari secretary of the society. Ram called him a fool, a rogue, and a crook. Verb act and pass are followed by as in following constructions. He acted as principal. He passed as a gentleman. More than one, though its sense is necessarily plural, is treated as a sort of compound of one following its construction and agrees with a singular noun and takes a singular verb. More than one worker was absent. So here, verb is agreeing according to worker. More than one student, again, verb agrees according to student. Just because the phrase Preceding student is more than one. The construction more plus noun than one takes plural verb is used in the following constructions. More books than one have been purchased by her. So again, if you find more plus plural noun than one, you have to use plural verb here. More girls than one were present there in the party. The following and the undersign, if used for singular subject, noun the verb will be singular, otherwise plural. The following are the new prices of these items. Undersign has taken a decision, SK Jain. So inversion is used in following situations when a sentence begins with hardly, rarely, scarcely, seldom, never, little. Hardly does she go to church. So inversion happens when a negative adverb is placed at the beginning and you have to change the formation of the verb. The verb formation change, like you have to put an auxiliary verb before the subject as she. The auxiliary verb is does and the main verb after it. And hardly is a negative adverb, which means almost not. Seldom had I seen such a healthy baby. Again, the inversion. Important rules. With of conjunction, not only but also. Not only did she watch TV, but she also cooked meal. Here again, inversion is there. Not only does he help her, but he also loves her. With no sooner. No sooner had she seen her husband than she hugged him. Again, no sooner is a negative adverb. The comparative degree was soon, and the no preceding sooner. Verb before the subject had, and the main verb after it. No sooner did he come in than she went out. In sentences beginning with following phrases, under no circumstances, in no way, on no account, on no condition, at no time. So if you find these phrases at the beginning of the sentence, you have to use inversion and inverted form the verb. Under no circumstances shall I accept this proposal. On no condition will she sell the house. Important rules. With adverbial expressions only yesterday, only the day before yesterday, only last month, only last fortnight, only after a month, year, only then, only in this way, only when, only by doing this thing, only in a few schools, colleges, countries, continents, etc. You have to use inversion. So example, only yesterday did he buy that car. So again, only yesterday, you find only yesterday and you have changed the formation of the verb. The helping verb comes before the subject here, he. Only by taking this did he save the life of the minister. So this is all about this session. I hope you have understood the session. Thank you.